I've got a little slide there for you about walking together. Um, we are partners with our families, our community, and we need to ensure that we support best long-term outcomes for our children. So I believe with this quote that we've got up, it's about, we know parents are the child's first leader, first teacher, so we really need to pay respect to that, and paying respect to that we need to walk hand in hand. We're not the experts. Parents are. We need to go on this journey together, and I think yeah, that's something that I can't. That just doesn't resonate enough with me. That don't walk in front, don't walk behind. Let's walk together because this is a big journey. And I was only saying to another service today that have visited our preschool, our complexities that we're seeing today are so much more complex than what we probably saw 5, 10 years ago. So we do really need to be in this together. So I might just move on to the next slide. For me, that's really thinking about our first impressions as well. So the picture that you can see up there is a local Aboriginal artist. She's a young girl that actually went to our preschool, and she's now grown into an amazing artist. And one of her artworks is actually up in the Pinterest office in Sydney. She's awesome. So she came in and she did some work and some communication with our community, our Aboriginal educators, our children, and we talked about our journey and about who we are. And that's the first thing you see when you walk into our preschool is that artwork, and her artwork is distributed throughout the preschool as well. Because I remember when I first moved here 12 years ago, one of my friends was an Aboriginal lady, and she came into the preschool, and we had a Aboriginal artwork up, and she said, "Gosh, this is the first time I've walked into this preschool and felt like I really belong and that I have a place in here." And to me, that really resonated because we want a place where people walk in and it feels like a sense of home and a sense of I can see myself and I can see my family here. And it doesn't have to be hard, it doesn't have to be expensive. I mean, we've done some amazing things here, but to start with, it was simple little things like employment of Aboriginal people, changing a bit of the environment that we had and adding some pieces, and they were not expensive, adding some nature, just making people feel that real sense of welcome in their space that they came. And reflective of our community, all of the artwork that we actually do have in our space is local. So we've got a local just outside my office. I'm sitting in my beautiful office at Forbes, is a piece of art that an Indian lady made. And it's her and her daughter playing in India, but it reflects just different parts of our community. Um, so, I think, yeah, really think about the first impression that people get as soon as they walk into your space. So, our next slide is about our family partnerships, and it's about this is a family walking through our door. And I say this a lot of times. If people have heard me speak before, you might have heard this. We treat everyone well, the same but different. Like, so we have really respectful relationships, and it doesn't matter if you're the mayor or if you have recently been in jail, or because we have quite a few families like that. It doesn't matter who they are. Everyone is given a really respectful hello, and it is meaningful and it's authentic. And I heard another phrase just recently about be interested, don't be interesting. I think if we're genuinely interested in our families and who they are and who their children are, and we show delight in them, you can't fake that. And I think that gives people just such a strong sense of well-being. And we want to lift people, we want to lift our community, and we're all here for the same outcomes. So I think by giving that initial welcoming, it just spreads, and word of mouth spreads. So we want everyone to feel like that this is their space because we are a community preschool, or even if you are a private service, we're all here with a like it's a family friendly environment. So we want to give that vibe off to everyone that walks in their door, that we absolutely delight in seeing you, and your children are so important, but you are so important to us too as a family, and our educators and our community members. We have lots of community members in our preschool, including child and family health nurses and domestic violence groups, you name it, they're here. It's because it's such a welcoming place. And if you can create that welcoming space, and it's not about a physical space, it's about work with what you've got, you'll see great outcomes. So our next
Amy, and
slide.
oh, sorry, I was just going to
Yep,
say about how we often see those first entry points sometimes as a place to share policy information or administrative kind of information. So I think, like you're sort of saying, just really reflecting on what does this first entry point, what is it saying and communicating to our families and to their children and young people that are walking through the door. I think that's such an important thing to reflect on, and really, it really can set the tone for what happens in the next, that first 5 minutes can set the tone for what happens after.
absolutely. And even like as we know, there is regulatory documents that we do have to have on display
Mm,
as people walk through the door, but we're really thoughtful about the way that they are displayed as well, um, and decluttering our environment, which I'll talk a little bit more about later. But yeah, it's having that space where you can stop and say hello and have that time and yeah, pay respect. Mm.
thanks.
So in the next little slide, you can see one of our spaces that we have created in our hallway. Also, when we designed this space, because we've only been in this preschool for since 2016. Gosh, the years fly by. But
You say
we
just, but yeah, that's quite a while now, isn't it?
I know, still feels relatively new. We created, we didn't want it to feel like you walk down a hallway. And I mean,
Mm,
as I say, we are very fortunate that we got to purpose build our service. But you can still do these things in different ways. But we created a space that is wide enough and it doesn't feel like you're standing in a hallway, so that the parents, especially pre-COVID, we have lounges and adult seating, so that parents could sit and have a yarn with each other or with us